Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is Dorian here, aka Dark Zodiac from the game. Today we're going to be doing a first look guide at a new champ coming into the game, Elsa Bloodstone. This is a content creator program video, so I do not get to keep this champ. It's only a temporary access for a couple days just for some testing purposes to share with you guys. So today we're going to look at some of her abilities, her skills, some gameplay, and basically what I think about the champ. It's not going to be too detailed because I only have her for a couple days, and I'm sure there'll be other ways to actually play her once people get their hands on her. But this is just a little initial guide that maybe you guys can check out and hopefully enjoy. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the well-timed blocked evasion. This is actually a new mechanic in the game. She starts off the fight, you can basically parry like normal, but she actually evades out of it and does a quick little shot that actually does physical damage that causes no power to the opponent as well. Let's kind of slow this down and see what it looks like. So you start the fight, you do your well-timed block parry, you slip out instead, you do an evade with your revolver, you take one shot causing physical damage and does not cause power in the opponent. Then you can attack normally. You can't do that evade again until that gray circle finishes going down. That's your evade cooldown timer. It's 11 seconds. It's 9 seconds if you have a certain synergy, which we'll talk about later. Another great thing about this is you can do this on stun immune opponents. It does not matter if they are immune to parry, as long as you have that evade counter ready to go. Just remember that it resets every 9 or 11 seconds depending on the synergy. You can also bypass the Astral evade of Mordo by using your evade technique. Now you got to remember you can only do it when you have the evade counter available. As you can see right now, it's in cooldown mode with that gray circle, so I won't be able to do that well-timed parry evade until it's down. So as you can see now, it's available to me, so the next time I get in a full parry against Mordo, I'll be able to basically evade out and attack, and there it is right there. So it's a nice little bonus, just something to keep in mind that it might be something that can be used on other characters as well that have special abilities in the future. So we'll move on to understanding the gun charges. We'll just talk about it at first and then we'll explain what they do. She starts off the fight with 2 sets of charges, one for her revolver and one for her Winchester shotgun. The revolver is represented by the blue circle below the health bar, and the Winchester is the orange circle below the health bar. Both guns start off with 6 charges or 6 shots. When those 6 shots are depleted, that gun has to be reloaded. It takes 11 seconds for the gun to be reloaded, and that goes for both. So either you have to reload the revolver or you have to reload the shotgun, depending how many shots you use. When those reloads are finished, it will actually stack as a reload, and those stacks can actually increase your power rate for offensive power. So it's a nice little ability. So now let's talk about exactly what they do. So the first gun is the revolver, that's the blue circle, the Behemoth Busters. You basically use that gun by ending your combo with a light attack or a special 2. On hit, inflicts a busted debuff, increasing the potency of incoming incinerate or cold snap debuffs by 50% for 21 seconds. Additionally, each time the opponent is struck by a critical hit, deals 304 direct damage for each busted debuff. The damage scales with base attack only. We'll talk about the cold snap a little later. It's a very nice feature, but basically you can use these Bohemian Busters to basically get you ready to actually do more damage in your incinerate and your cold snap when you go into your Hellfire rounds, which we'll talk about here in a moment. The other gun is the Winchester, which is represented by the orange circle below the health bar. It's the shotgun. It delivers Hellfire rounds. Basically, to use it, you have to end your combo with a medium attack or use a special 1. On hit, inflict a incinerate debuff, dealing 608 energy damage over 11 seconds. This also removes perfect block chance and reduces block proficiency by 50%. If the opponent has triggered an evade or they're immune to incinerate, a matching cold snap debuff is inflicted instead, which prevents enemies from actually evading. So we'll talk about that in a moment. So from what I can see from my playing with her is you kind of want to set up a system where you're kind of focusing on doing your revolver shots, the busters, ending with the light combo attack and the special 2. That basically puts the busted debuffs on the opponent. When those busted debuffs are on the opponent, that increases the potency of incoming incinerate or cold snap, which is your Winchester. So that's when you start using your Hellfire rounds so you can inflict more incineration damage and have the cold snap debuffs last longer. So you gotta kind of work out a system, but once you get it going, she works pretty well. So now we'll talk about Elsa's cold snap abilities. Basically when she's using her Winchester, that's ending the combo with a medium attack or using a special 1. If the opponent has triggered an evade or they are immune to incinerate, a matching cold snap debuff is inflicted instead, which prevents evade from activating. So if I'm ending my combos with a medium attack, which you see here, and Spidey tries to evade that, a cold snap debuff will be placed on him and he will not be able to evade anymore. Of course, if he's on a debuff immune node, this will not work, but for the most part it's going to work. Now if you had some busted debuffs on from the revolver, you can also increase the potency of incoming incinerate or cold snap debuffs by 50% for 21 seconds. So you can see the combination of using your SB1, your SB2, your light, and your medium attacks really affect on how basically Elsa can take out opponents and what abilities she can do. So we've talked about Special 1 and 2 quite a lot during the video. Basically just a quick breakdown. If you use your Special 1, that inflicts the incinerate damage, the debuffs from that. If you're using your Special 2, that inflicts the busted debuff, which increases the potency of incoming incinerate or cold snap debuffs by 50%. And just be aware when you use your Special 2, if you run out of your Behemoth Buster bullets in the blue, it will actually switch over to the Hellfire. Now, a couple other things that you should know about the Special 1. The Special 1 on activation gains a precision buff, increasing the critical rating by 3000 for 9 seconds. This precision is paused until Elsa activates her next special attacks. So now let's talk about the Special 3. So next we'll talk about Elsa's Special 3. It's called From Dusk to Dusk. When the Special 3 is complete, you gain up to 3 cruelty buffs, each increasing Elsa's critical damage rating by 222 for 22 seconds. These cruelty buffs expire one at a time. Each time Elsa triggers a reloading effect, she refreshes their duration. So it's pretty cool that after the Special 3 is done, you have these cruelty buffs that basically increase your damage. And every time you reload your guns, you can refresh these actual stacks. Now I did a test where I basically kept the stacks from basically going down, and I went back to my Special 3. I was kind of hoping to see that the stacks would actually stack on top of the 3. So after the Special 3 I could have 6 cruelty buffs or 9 cruelty buffs or 12 cruelty buffs, but it didn't work. It seems that the 3 is the maximum you can get, so you're just going to have to make do with that. So now we're going to talk about her signature ability, which is called Huntress of the Contest. Basically when she's fighting science champions like Thing here, critical hits with the Hellfire rounds, that's the end of the combo with a medium or the Special 1, do an additional 2000 damage, that's a Sig level 200. Also when fighting characters that have the large or extra large tag, critical hits with the revolver or the busters deal an additional 2009 damage as well. Also, one more special ability, critical damage rating is increased by 857. This is Sig level 200 when fighting the last node in a quest. So basically fighting the boss in the quest, she will get a critical damage rating increase. So now we're going to talk about how Elsa can purify non-damaging debuffs. This is chapter 6.1.3. This particular node places a weakness debuff on you. That weakness debuff right there in the little red circle is not damaging. So every 2.6 seconds, Elsa can basically purify a non-damaging debuff and replaces it with a precision buff that increases her critical rating by 2000 for 9 seconds. So it's a nice little ability, particularly for this chapter, but for other things like armor break and any other non-damaging debuff that might be placed on her, she can remove it and strengthen her actual critical attack. So now we'll go over her synergies and do a quick stats overview. Synergies, she has one with Darkhawk. When fighting villains, Elsa gains the effect of a level 1 Assassin Mastery. If the Assassin Mastery is already acquired, it is instead activated when the opponent is below 25% of their maximum health. And Darkhawk instantly charges 50% of a bar of power when entering a mode from a different mode. This one here, Beauty and the Beast. Elsa with Beast, the cooldown of Elsa evade counter attack is reduced by 2 seconds. So that's 11 minus 2, so it's down to 9 seconds. And Beast's Special 3 Fury is maintained until the combo count is reset. Then she has a couple just typical ones. One with Friends of Wolverine, she gets an armor rating. And then she has Enemies, she gets a critical rating. Now some of her stats that people like to see. Okay, go to the percentages. So we have attack of 1340. We have a critical rating of 36%. A critical damage rating of 200%. We have your armor rating of 13% and a block proficiency of 59%. A little low, but she does have that well-timed block evade feature, which will help basically protect you from some of the chip damage. So not too bad. So let's move on from here. So finally, we're going to talk about bleed debuffs and my final thoughts about the character. I'm not going to showcase the bleed debuffs, I'm just going to talk about it. Basically, when Elsa gets a bleed debuff placed on her, if the enemy is a non-mutant, the enemy will also get a degeneration debuff placed on them, and they won't be able to heal during the time that Elsa has the bleed debuff on her. Once the bleed debuff removes from her, and then the degeneration debuff will remove from the actual enemy. So my final thoughts on Elsa Bloodstone. She's pretty fun to play, there's no doubt about that. I love her animations. She moves really well, she's very slick, she's very smooth. I love her Special 1, Special 2, Special 3 attack animations. She's pretty damn sweet. I love the idea of the revolver and the Winchester shotgun. It's just pretty damn cool. What I do not like about her is she's a little bit all over the place. You know, she's kind of a jack of all trades but master of none. Her damage is subpar for me right now. Maybe there's better ways to play her and you can do a lot more damage, or maybe rank 4, rank 5 should be a lot more impressive, because this is rank 3. Yes, she could put on suicides on the champ, but she's not suicide friendly at all. She's only basically immune to non-damaging debuffs, so poison, bleed from suicides will not stop, and recoil damage will also not stop. So, you know, she's got a high critical attack, which would be nice for suicides, but she's not immune to them, so I say it's kind of rough on that kind of thing. But for the most part, she's a pretty cool character. I wish her synergies are a little better. She's only got a couple of good ones. All in all, I had a really fun time playing with her. Do I think she's a god tier, as they say, or a demigod tier? Probably not right now, in my personal opinion. Maybe someone will prove me wrong when they find a better way to play her. But all in all, I enjoyed her. I had a good time playing with her, and I'd like to get her maybe one day in the future. I'll probably spend a couple crystals and see if we get her. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave comments on what you think of the character. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, dislike if you have to, and all that good stuff. I really appreciate your all support. And take care, everybody, and we will talk to you soon.
Target identified. Analysis complete. Please subscribe.